Yikes, my Etsy shop is suspended. This is something that I hear all the time from a lot of different people, a lot of different sellers. They're either suspended or afraid that they're going to get suspended. I'm here today to talk about the number one reason that people get suspended on Etsy. Let's go. All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. Ella here, leader of the Handmade and Beyond community. Glad to be back with you guys. Hopefully you're doing awesome. Today, I'm going to talk a lot about some fearful topic that people are always talking about in forums online, which is Etsy shop suspended or suspension, rather. So it's Etsy jail. A lot of people hear the horror stories and they're afraid to either open their shop, they're afraid to run their shop, or they're walking around on eggshells thinking that they're going to get suspended at any moment. Etsy's going to close them down. So hopefully this episode gives you some insight, but also eases your mind so that you can do the right things. So the number one reason, and there are a couple of reasons, but I'm going to dive into the number one reason that Etsy shops and shop owners get suspended, get kicked off Etsy, get permanently shut down, and that is trademark infringement. And I think a lot of the reason is because a lot of people don't have a clear understanding of what trademark or copyright infringement is and what violates that. So that's why I want to do this episode and dive in today and hopefully ease your mind so that you are doing the right things and make sure you are not violating copyright or trademark infringement inside Etsy and don't have to worry about ever getting shut down or suspended. So what is trademark or copyright infringement? Well, trademark is where someone registers an active trademark. Maybe it is a logo, a design, something like that. Usually it's like a brand logo, brand name. Whereas copyright is an original work. So anything that you create or write is automatically copyrighted. So that gets a little bit more murky because you just have to prove that you created it first. But that through litigation and stuff can get a little bit murky, where trademark is a lot easier to prove or disprove because you simply look up the trademark database and see if there's an active trademark on either that brand name, that logo, that original work. So that's a little bit of the difference. Like I said, I'm going to focus specifically on trademark infringement because that is the main thing that people get violated for. Usually if you have a copyright, you go forward and do the trademark for anything big, like brand names and stuff like that. So there's really two main things that come up that get infringed upon when it comes to trademark in your listings. One is pictures, where it's your item. Something in your item is causing trademark infringement. Maybe it's a duplicate of an active trademarked product, piece of art, something like that. The other main one is your keywords that you're using that are trademarked. And this is usually the one that people get flagged for first, just because it's easy to search for a trademark keyword in Etsy and find people that are using that keyword and get them violated for it. So, and usually what happens when you get a violation, you either get that listing taken down, and Etsy will notify you via email and on your dashboard that there is a trademark violation. They don't mess around. They don't wait for you to prove or disprove it. They really go with if someone submits a violation, they just take it down. Then you have to settle it with the person that violated you, and then come back to Etsy and prove that you have the rights to list that item. So it's really hard to get an item back, put back up, and go through that process if you're in the right. So hopefully you don't have to go through that. But usually you get the notification, you get the product shut down. It's not immediately going to get you suspended. Sometimes, and I've been victim to trademark violations that I didn't know about. Keywords that I use I just didn't know about. So those listings get taken down. You just try to do better in the future. However, there is a possibility that you can get suspended or even permanently closed. through trademark violations. And usually that happens if all of your products or a good chunk of your products are all trademark infringement. Like if you open a whole shop and have 50 products and they're all trademark infringing items, Etsy's not going to mess around. They're probably going to suspend you or just shut you down. But if you have one here and one there, which sometimes happens, they're not going to shut you down unless you repeatedly violate, have trademark violations, or you relist the same items and do the same thing again a couple of times. They're not going to mess around. They're either going to suspend you or shut you down. So if you're listening to what they're saying and you move away from those trademark infringements, you don't continue to do it, or you're not opening your whole shop with trademark infringing items, you shouldn't really have anything to worry about. The other thing I hear a lot of when it comes to trademarks is, well, you tell someone that you shouldn't put this item up because it could get flagged for trademark. Is, well, other people were doing it. Other people have the item up. Well, the thing is, that doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean that you're going to get away with it. They may get away with it for some time, but chances are they're not going to get away with it forever. So just because someone else has an item up doesn't mean that you can do a similar item and not worry about trademark infringement. That's not a good litmus test for what to put on Etsy and what violates trademark and what doesn't. Some brands aren't as active as others when it comes to flagging listings. The other thing is, honestly, Etsy has been inundated with trademark infringing items, so it is a little bit harder to keep up with. I know they're doing their best, but when you have millions and millions of sellers, it gets a little bit harder. And on the company side, when there's millions and millions of people possibly infringing on their trademark, it just takes time to go through all that stuff. So that's another reason why not to do it, because they probably just haven't gotten flagged yet and hit yet. So don't rely on what you see on there as a litmus test for putting your own products on there. If you want to really be sure, do a search on the trademark website. You can go there. It's uspto.com, or I'm sorry, uspto.gov, not .com. .com may reroute you, or it may send you some weird other place. So make sure you're doing .gov. And you can do a search. You just type in a keyword and search and see if the record is trademarked. Now, there may be a bunch of records that pop up. Look on the right-hand side and see if the record is live or dead. And you can click into the record and see exactly what it is. Some of it's for word, some of it's for image. If you're not sure, I just wouldn't do it. Obviously, you can get legal counsel to tell you, but that's expensive. So it may just be easier to move away from something that you think may be possibly trademark. But yeah, use that website to see if you really want to know for sure and do your due diligence. But let me go over a couple of the most common trademark violations that are out there. So usually the main violation is pop culture. This is anything out in the world, movies, TV, music, pop culture stuff, type items, because those are the most popular. Those are what's trending. Those are what people want. Baby Yoda is is a perfect example. Lots and lots, and probably is still a ton of stuff on Etsy for Baby Yoda, but that is 100% trademarked through Disney. You cannot use the term Baby Yoda. You can't make Baby Yoda ornaments, T-shirts. You're not allowed to do that stuff. You will get flagged by Disney, and I know they've been cracking down on it because you're cutting into your billion-dollar business, and they have some big guns when it comes to enforcing their trademarks. So anything Disney, like I said, movies, music, is all trademark stuff, where you're using people's names, their likeness, logos, all that stuff is trademarked. Like anything in pop culture, fabric patterns that have sports teams on them, sports teams in general, any brand name type stuff, Coca-Cola, Target, different stuff like that. Anything brand named obviously is trademarked. And then there's trademarked terms that you don't realize too, such as onesie is a big one. A lot of people, it's an everyday term. You use it to talk about a piece of clothing for a child. Onesie is trademarked by Gerber, so you can't use that. Or you could get flagged, so you have to think of another name to describe a onesie, which gets a little bit more complicated. It's not always like that, but that is one of the main keywords that are trademarked. There's other keywords that are like sports related, fitness related, such as Peloton, CrossFit, spinning. Those are trademark terms, which we use them every day to. How do you tell somebody that you're going to ride a bike in a class setting? Usually, you just say spinning class. Well, that is trademarked, and I know I've been flagged for those firsthand because I just didn't realize that they weren't common use. So that's something that happens if a term is used so much it becomes like second nature in society. They can make it common use. Just for instance, you can't trademark gym, you can't trademark running. Because those are common use terms. So probably eventually CrossFit and terms like that may be common use, but right now you can't use those terms because they are absolutely trademarked. So that's where it gets a little hairy. Gets a little weird when you think a term. It's an everyday term, and it's like, wow, how would they be able to trademark that? Why would they be able to trademark that? That's where it gets a little weird, and that's where people sometimes run into trouble. But again, if you run into that and you're not doing it widespread, and that's a one-off, you don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, you may get flagged, and it kind of stinks. But just move on, take those listings down. If you have other listings that use that term that didn't get flagged, which sometimes happens, you can make sure to take those down as well. A really good example of this is I had a shirt that just had a workout shirt that just said Beast on it for going to the gym and stuff, and someone trademarked, which I think is Marshawn Lynch, actually the football player, trademarked Beast Mode. Well, his people contacted my people or myself and flagged my Beast shirt as a trademark violation for Beast Mode. And I was like, what the heck? This isn't Beast Mode, but they still did it anyways. Etsy took it down. So obviously I could fight it, but it really wasn't worth it. I mean, there was only a couple of designs, not a lot of revenue. So whatever, I'm not going to mess with it. I just took it down. There was two other listings that had it in that they didn't flag. I took those down because I don't want those violations, and it just wasn't worth me to fight it. But it was still a little, it's a little irritating because I clearly did not infringe on their trademark, but close enough, I guess. So that's just some of the things that you have to deal with. But usually those are few and far between, and you don't really, it's not really a problem. But that kind of leads me to I did a little bit of research because I was kind of interested in some other words that we use all the time that may be trademarked that we don't know about. Not that you're going to use these words in your listings, but I thought it'd be a little bit fun to find some of these words and let you guys know what they are, because it's the whole trademark thing can get a little crazy and a little wonky sometimes. So some interesting ones are I found that seeing eye dog is trademarked, which is absolutely crazy to me. So how do you, how do you talk about a seeing eye dog online and not infringe on the trademark? I don't imagine that they enforce that one. But yeah, that is absolutely a trademark term. Uh, Dumpster is trademarked. So if you want to start a company, a dumpster company, you can't call it dumpster. I guess you can get infringed upon if you're calling it dumpster. Again, I imagine they're probably not enforcing that. Maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not in the dumpster business. The other one is weed eater. So you can't call it a weed eater. You better call it a weed whacker. But my guess is that's probably trademark too. I didn't look into that one. So if you can't call it a weed eater, you can't call it a weed whacker. I don't know what you call it. A weed eliminator, weed be gone, something like that. And the last one that I thought was kind of crazy was fluffer nutter is trademark, which I guess that makes sense. But I look at fluffer nutter like a flavor. It's like if someone trademarked cherry or something like that. It's just kind of weird that fluffernutter is a trademark. Is trademark. So I thought it was funny, and I don't know how you can trademark some delicious flavor like fluffernutter, but I guess you can. So where do we go from here, right? But that's it, guys. I just really wanted to touch on that because I see a lot of people talking about suspension, and usually I would say 99% are trademark infringement terms. So think about what you're selling. Is it out there in the pop culture? Chances are it is trademark infringement. So don't do it. There's other things that you can do. You can do your own flavor, your own spin, your own designs. where you're not infringing. Just make sure you're not using those keywords in your listings, and don't try to go around that. Don't do a Baby Yoda and not say Baby Yoda in the keyword terms, because you're still selling the likeness. You can still get dinged for that while you may be harder to find. They're eventually going to hunt you down and take that listing off. So don't try the workaround. Don't try to get cute. That's what people do, and then they get shut down, and then they're like, I don't understand why I got shut down. So be cautious of that. I'm sure you guys aren't messing with that stuff. And if you're just starting out, that's what you have to look out for. So think through that and make sure you have your own product line, your own products, where you're not, taking likeness and keywords and stuff from other companies, because that you're not going to be open for very long if you go that route. If you guys are brand new and you're looking for other best practices to get started on the right foot in your Etsy journey so that you guys can have success a lot sooner, I want to give you a free guide. If you go to handmadeandbeyond.com/quick start, you can get my free Etsy quick start guide with some really good best practices in there to get you started on the right foot so that you can make sales faster, make sure you're doing the right things sooner so you don't have to go back and fix stuff later. That's what I want for you guys. I want you to start off on the right foot. Online business is the way to go. There is a bright future, even though maybe you're struggling a little bit now or you're not where you want to be. I'm confident that you guys can get there. So thanks for listening today. I'll be back real soon with another really good episode for you guys. Have an awesome rest of your day.